Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwarya Mata ki jai. We'll go on with chapter 7 from book 11 of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. Sri Narayana said, O Narada, when Shiva thus explained to Kartikeya the greatness of the reduction, he became satisfied. Now I have spoken to you of the glories of the reduction, as far as I know. Now, as to our subject of right way of acting, I will now speak on other things that ought to be known. Listen, the seeing of the reduction brings in a lakh times of punyams, good merits, and koti times of merits arise from touching it. Holding it brings in koti times merits, again, if one makes the japam of mantra with that reduction. One obtains merit 100 lakh koti times and 1,000 lakh koti times the merit. The merit in holding a reduction is far superior to that in holding a bhadraksam. The reduction seed that is of the size of an amalaki is the best, which is the size that which is the size of a plum is middling, and which is the size of a gram is the worst. This is my word and promise. The reduction seed is of 4 kinds: Brahmana, Ksatra, Vaisas, and Sudras. The white color is Brahmana, the red Ksatra, the yellow Vaisas, and the black colored is reduction seed is the Sudras. Those reduksha seeds that are nicely circular, smooth, hard, and whose thorns or points are distinctly visible are the best. Those that are pierced by insects, broken in parts, those whose thorns are not clearly visible with swells and holes, those are coated over. These 6 varieties of reductions are faulty. Those reductions that have on their own nature a hole running through them are the best, and those that have holes pierced by men are middling. The reduction seeds that smell of uniform, that are of uniform shape, bright, hard, and beautifully circular should be strung together by a silken thread. How to test the reduction seed? As gold is tested by touchstone, so the reduction is tested by drawing lines on it. Those on which the lines are most uniform, bright, and beautiful are the best, and they should be worn by the Shivites, Saivas. One should hold 1 reduction on the crown hair, 30 on the head, 36 on the neck, 16 on each arm, 12 on each wrist, 5 on the shoulders. 108 reduction in the place of the sacrificial thread, and the devotee should have 2 or 3 rounds on the neck. On the earrings, one on the earrings, on the crown of the head, on bracelets, on amulets, on necklace, on ornaments worn on the loins, one should hold reduction always, whether one sleeps or one eats. Holding 300 reduction is lowest, holding 5 is middling. The 3-face reduction is the 3 Agnis. Agni is always pleased with the man who wears the 3-face reduction. The 4-face reduction is Brahma himself. The wearer gets his prosperity enhanced, his disease is destroyed, and the divine knowledge springs in him, and his heart is always pleased. The 5-face reduction is the face of Shiva himself. Mahadeva gets pleased with him who holds it. The presiding deity of the 6-face reduction is Kartikeya. Some pundits say Ganapati to be the presiding deity of the 6-face reduction. The presiding deity of the 7-face reduction is the 7 Matras, the sun, and the 7 rishis. By putting on this, the prosperity is increased and health and knowledge are established. The presiding deity of 8-face reduction is Brahma. The 8 Matkas, by holding this, the 8 Vasus are pleased, and the river Ganges is also pleased. The putting on of this makes the jivas truthful. The devata of the 9-phase reduction is Yama. Holding this puts off the fears of death. Devata of the 11-phase reduction is the 10 quarters, which are pleased with him who wears the 10-phase reduction. The devata of the 10-phase reduction are the 10 quarters. The devatas of the 11 reduction is the 11 Rudras and Indra. Holding this enhances happiness. The 12-phase reduction is Vishnu made manifest. Its devatas are the 12 Adityas. The devotees of Shiva should hold this. The 13-phase reduction is worn, if worn, enables one to nowhere experience failure. The Kamadeva becomes pleased with him who wears this. The 14-phase reduction destroys all disease and gives eternal health. While holding this, one ought not to take wine, flesh, onions, garlic, or the flesh of a boar. During the lunar and solar eclipse, during the Uttarayana Sankranti, during the full moon or the new moon day, if reduction be worn, one becomes instantly freed of all one's sins. Here ends the 7th chapter of the 11th book on the greatness of one-faced, etc. reductions in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedavyasa. And we're going to go on with chapter 8. Narayana said, "O great Muni, now I shall tell you the rules of Bhuta-Suti, the purification of the elements of the body, attraction and replacement and respiratory. Firstly, think of the highest deity, Kundalini, the serpent fire, as rising up in the hollow canal, the Susna, in the spinal cord, from the Muladhara, the sacral plexus, to the Brahmarandhara, the aperture is supposed to be at the crown of the head. Next, the devotee is to meditate on the mantra Hamsa and consider his Jivatma, the embodied soul, united with Parabrahma. Then think from leg to the knee in the form of a square, yantra. Consider this square as the earth of a golden color and represented by the letter Lam, represented the seed mantra of earth. Next, from the knee to the navel, consider the semi-moon, and at the two ends, consider that the two houses are situated, lotuses are situated. Consider this as the circle of water of white color, represented by the letter Bum and the seed mantra of water. Then again, from the navel to the heart, consider it as the triangular form and the sastwic mark on its three angles, and think of it as fire, represented by the letter Rum, its root mantra of red color. Next, from the heart to the center of the eyebrows, consider as marked with 6 dots, with the seed mantra Yam, of a smoke-colored color and of a circular appearance, and consider it as air. Then again, from the center of the eyebrows to the crown of the head, consider as Akasa Mandalam, beautiful and clear, and with Hum as its beach letter. Then again, from the center of the eyebrows from the center of the eyebrows, thus thinking, consider firstly the earthly principle originated from watery principle dissolved in water. Then think water as dissolved in fire, its cause, fire dissolved in air, its cause, and air dissolved in akasa, ether, its cause. Then consider akasa dissolved in its cause, ahamkara, egoism. Then again, ahamkara dissolved in the great principle, and mahata again is its cause. Prakriti, and consider Prakriti again diluted in its cause, the Supreme Self. Then consider your own self as the highest knowledge and only that. Think then of the Papa Purusha and sinful man in your body. The size of this man is that of a thumb and is situated in the left abdomen. The head of him is represented by Brahmahatya. His arms are sealing gold, his heart as drinking wine, his loins as going to the wife of his guru, his legs as mixing with people who go to the wives of their guru, and his toes as representing other sins and venial offenses. The sinful man holds axes and shield in his hands. He is always angry, with his head bent down, and his appearance is very horrible. Inhale air through the left nostril, thinking of the root mantra of the air, and make kumbhaka. Fill the whole body with that air and hold it inside, purifying the sinful man, then repeating Ram, the seed mantra of fire. Think of the sinful man with his own body burnt down to ashes. Then exhale outside through the right nostril those ashes of the sinful man. Next, consider what's due to the burning of the sinful man as rolled and turned into a round ball with the seed of the moon. Think steadily this ball as transformed into a golden egg by the seed mantra Lam of the earth. Repeat then, hum the sound mantra of Akasa, and think yourself as an ideal being, pure and clean, and shape thus your body and the several limbs. Create then fresh in an inverse order from the Brahma, the elements Akasa, air, fire, water, earth, and locate them in their respective positions. They, by the mantra Soham, separate the Jivatma from the Paramatma and locate the Jivatma in the heat. Think also that the Kundalini has come to the sacral plexus. After locating the Jivatma, turn into nectar by contact with the highest self in the heart. Next, meditate on the vital force, the prana, Sakti, thus located as follows. There is a red lotus on a wide boat in a vast ocean of a red color. On this lotus is seated the prana Shakti. She has 6 hands holding in due order the trident, the arrow made of sugar cane, noose goad, 5 arrows, and a skull filled with blood. She is 3-eyed. Her high breasts are decorated. The color of her body is like that of the rising sun. May she grant us happiness. Thus meditating on the prana Shakti, who is of the nature of the highest self, one ought to apply ashes on his body in order to attain success in all actions. Great merit arises from the application of ashes on the body. I will now dwell on this subject in detail. Listen. This point of holding ashes on the body is particularly proved in the Vedas and the Smritis. Here ends the 8th chapter in the 11th book on the Bhuta Sutti, purification of elements in the body, in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki.